if you're looking at this boat, I think you already have a very clear mission in mind. Pilothouse, amazing access to both helms or the helm, walk around decks, really great access, long range capabilities and amazing comfort in big seas. Ladies and gents, this is the Sargo 45, built in Finland by a family company which has been building these boats since 1967. These guys, they mean business, and I've been out testing this boat all day today, and thank God we had a little storm 2 days ago, so we actually have some swell left over from that storm, and I've had a really good feel all morning as to what this boat is like in some serious conditions. And I'll tell you what, it is a serious boat. It's built like a serious boat to go places, but it's also a sensible size that could be managed solo or short-handed, 2 cabins with the option of 3 cabins, 2 toilets, 2 showers, and it's just freaking awesome looking. Check out this green color. I hope you appreciate the drone shots we've got for you today, and I hope you appreciate this background because we are in the Athens Riviera. This is my first time to this bay. It's an absolute stunning place, not far from the city, and in that direction is the Temple of Poseidon. So we're sort of somewhere in the middle. I think it's called Glyphada. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dan Jones. You're watching Dan's Boat Life, and this is going to be the very detailed walkthrough. So for those of you who are seriously interested in buying one of these, I would like you to join me in the next video, which is going to be the sea trial, and that's where we're going to cover the whole performance of this setup, and also we're going to do some parking and show you how the anchoring setup works as well. But starting up here on the front of the boat, as you can see, this particular one's got teak all the way around, and typical Scandinavian style, because they do want to be able to do the stern anchoring and board off the bow. So we have this fold out little step here, full rub rail going all the way around the boat. You can actually option it up for some more rub rail protection if you need, but see, you can just open this up, just have a look in there. We've got a little rope locker. You can store the winch handle for the windlass, and notice how the windlass, it's offset. So it's offset to port, giving us access down the center line, and I love having these grab rails. No one's going to hurt themselves. This is an ultra safe boat for walking around the decks. Your bow cleats are just here. We have a decent vertical drop into the anchor locker, so I don't think this stainless steel chain is going to get bunched up and caught, because you can access it through here, and this is also the storage location for this cute little table. Just here, so table and leg, and also the cover for the sun lounge on the bow store conveniently here. This is a theme. We're going to see this right throughout the boat. There is storage places everywhere for logical items. You can really notice that this boat has been designed by boaters. So any of you who are sailors, any of you who are serious cruisers, and you're looking for a motorboat to do some passage making or to spend your whole summer on board, this is going to be a boat worth paying your attention to. So we've got another little rope locker in here. Same again on the other side. I'd argue that we'd stow fenders aft because we have so much space for them down aft. We've got a really good fender solution, which we're going to check out in a second. It's a flat walk all the way to the bow, so no steps. We've got these beautiful big courtesy lights on both sides. Wonderful sun lounge here. I'll just jump on it for perspective. Heaps of space. It's got the built-in headrest or cushion, pillow thingamajiggy just there. We've got the nice windscreen, forward facing, an overhang. There's a built-in light which looks super cool, stainless steel wipers with the wash function. We've got the light bar up on the roof. I love this color. It's a it's just amazing. Actually, I never would have thought green would look so cool, but in this blue water here in Greece, it looks fantastic. We've got forward midship cleats, and we've got actual midship cleats and then aft cleats, so we're really overdoing it, when it comes to practicality. And these rails, I love how it's been done in the matte black, but again, you feel so safe walking forward, moving around this boat. You really, really do feel safe. It's got a low center of gravity. It doesn't have a tendency to rock. We don't have any stabilization on this particular one. However, you can option it with Seakeeper if you wish. Just having a quick look up on the roof. We've got the aerials folded down, but we've got a beautiful big opening skylight. We've got glass aft of that, and you can see all the radar, spotlight, TV remote, GPS remotes, anchor lights. We've even got a life raft after that with a hydrostatic release up on the roof. So just keep it out of the way and hopefully never need to use it. But on the starboard side, we have this opening door and you can still move forward and aft. So that's good. And these doors are fantastic. So what we're going to do, let's actually just have a quick squiz because I want to come back to the helm. I want to show you the transom first. So just have a quick look inside whilst we make our way aft, and then follow me down this starboard side because all these windows are glued in essentially. So it's beautifully done. You're not going to get any leaks with that. And see how high. So as you go aft, the height increases. So anyone in this part of the boat where you're mostly going to have a lot of your guests is going to feel super safe. There's no chance you're going to be falling overboard whatsoever. But come and just get a load of this social space here. It really is lovely because you've got full overhang with the roof here. So we've got excellent amount of sun protection, obviously going to give it some rain protection as well. We can enclose it with the covers. They just zip in. Obviously here in Greece, perhaps not so necessary. This is a wonderful spot, clear line of sight forward, great communication, big table. It's got its own cover. Underneath we have storage, but just come in and have a look here. If you did cop a big wave, it's actually designed, in my opinion, for the water to pass through and under and out the back there. So they're not just relying on little deck drains, and it just lends itself, or it just, when you look at it, you're like, this is a boat that you're going to take to sea. You really would. The underwater profile of this whole design, because I've seen it this morning out of the water, is absolutely a design that I would go out and some big stuff in, and the construction is solid as you can feel it. She doesn't make any weird noises, and it's something that you would be quite confident to do some distance boating in. So we can rack 6 fenders up in here if you wish for easy access. However, you don't need to because you've already got 6 in here. So that's great. So if you are doing the med mooring and you need to have extra fenders, that's fantastic. But if you're doing Australian or American style and you've got a floating finger on one side, might not be necessary. And also, if you are doing the med mooring and you've got the IPS version, you can't do this with the stern drives, but you can store some ball fenders down here. So that's a great feature and just makes life a little bit more convenient. Obviously, this is a hydraulic drop-down swim platform, so that is possible. You can also stow a tender in some tender chocks out here on the transom. These railings have actually been made to be removable, so they can unlock and be removed if necessary. And then you would obviously do that if you were putting a tender in place on the transom. But as you can see, Scandinavian boat, stern anchoring, very popular up in the northern climates. It makes a lot of sense, but you can also utilize this in other places, approaching beaches, or if you're just trying to hold position for the Sydney Harbour fireworks and you don't have any room, that's really useful as well. Cleats everywhere. Look how big the rub rail is. Super awesome, and you can option it with extra rub rails. It kind of looks a little bit more of a commercial vibe if you see those in the pictures on their website, but super cool. Obviously this winch is going to be for some med mooring, pulling yourself into the dock. This is the plug-in for the swim shower, and then you've got the hot and cold mixer just there. This is your main shore power, but because we have air conditioning which runs off the genset, you actually can plug in the air conditioning directly to the shore if you want to be pumping the AC through all the cabins. This particular boat is a 3 cabin, and we've got a beautiful amount of space inside which can be AC'd if necessary. But we got the big fridge just out here. Check that out. That's all electrified. And then you could break it down the middle if you wanted to do esky and electric. And then this is the swim shower, which I was talking about before, just stows in there. And that's also insulated, so that'll serve as an esky. This is where you operate the hydraulic platform from. And we've actually got storage underneath the seats just here. I will just pop that up so you can have a look, because we've got it full of stuff and it's super convenient. And another wonderful idea, so those cushions all just clip off. Rather than putting a cover over them, there's a cushion garage. That's it. So they all just stack up in here conveniently, and the mesh shade and the carbon poles for the bow shade up front stow in there as well. And you can see even some of the table legs as well. I think that's a great idea, because then you're going to keep the cushions in new condition all the time rather than just covering them up, which is not necessarily the best solution. This is our wing station. Boom, boom. So that's super handy. You can dive into that a little bit more detail during the sea trial should you wish. And then engine access, another clever idea. So we've got quick access through this hatch below my feet. We're going to get into the engine bay a little bit later, but we have electronic access, which allows us to open this whole thing up, even with this door and that door still open. It doesn't interfere with it, and you can leave the table in place. So you just press the button up here and it electrically, boom, boom, engine hatch, the whole thing opens up, and it's really, really easy to get access to. But we'll do that at the end of the video for those of you who are interested. This is cool. A coat locker. Love it. So then I've got my coats in there. It was cold this morning. Main engine battery switches, engine hatch, engine room light, deck wash, table lift just there. And the galley is super convenient. But pay attention to the width we have in here. So once again, these guys they're clearly serious boaters. They're thinking about how the layout and how the design is going to work from an operational perspective. Because I have spent a bit of time boating up in Finland now, and the weather changes, because it'll go from a nice sunny day, and when the wind comes in, it's immediately cold. So you do want to have the ability to open it up to the sky, see the views, but you also feel good when you can kind of hunker down a little bit and close the roof and protect yourself from the cold. But equally, that concept or that thought process works really well in other countries. Okay, in Australia, it's not so cold, but we're worried about the heat, and we're worried about just having protection from the wind. And a design like this works exceptionally well in that sort of scenario. Oh, someone's coming to give us a hard time about anchoring near the water sports. We're right in the middle of a YouTube video. How can we help? I don't speak Greek. Well, there you go. We've had to move location, but this is also quite beautiful. So, where was I? Talking about the galley, have enough space. All of this is actually quite customizable. So for those of you Aussies who are going to ask me, yes, you can have more refrigeration if you wish, but we have a lovely big fridge just here. We've got the refrigeration out back. As you can see, or you may not have noticed, this actually hinges up like so. So we've got this Korean-like finish. We've got the 2-burner. That's going to be off the Jenny, the twin sinks. And then when you're done, I like this, you can probably just throw a few dirty dishes in here when you can't be bothered and just close them away. However, we do have a dishwasher drawer just in there. That's an option. So that's nice and clever. I like how we can just close that fiddle there and stop it from opening in a seaway. And then we got storage, microwave storage, deep drawers. They're all in the soft close. And again here, I'll just open one of them up. Look how beautifully done that is. And boom, boom on the soft close. That locks like so. The seating area, it is actually elevated. So you do sort of step up, but just feel this grab hold. We can operate that a little bit later, but if you feel this grab hold, It's really useful for when you are moving forward and aft, but when you step up, you can kind of pull yourself with that, and then you've got an elevated position to enjoy the view. So if you just see what I'm seeing, it's quite pleasant, but it also allows you underway, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to do quite a bit of passage making on a boat like this. If you've got 4 people sitting up the front here, skipper 1, 2, 3, you're still going to be able to see over their heads when you're underway, so it's quite pleasant. The other thing is, pay attention to these corners. See how comfortable this is? You can really be kicking back, enjoying yourself. You're going to put your arms there. It's beautiful, high quality material. You've actually got a place to throw things just aft here. Obviously this window pops open if you were communicating with people out on the back deck, but I see this is the perfect place to throw electronics and mobile phones. You've actually got a charging point just in here, so that's super handy. And this table here will electrically lower down, and then this will turn into I guess you could say, extra accommodation or a big day bed if you wish. We've even got reading lights up above my head here, and this ledge could be utilised for storing bits and pieces or throwing things, just getting things out of the way. And as you can see over us, we've got the beautiful glass, so you can let the light in, but you don't need to. You can totally knock it out, and then you can also just knock it down a little bit. I beg your pardon, they're both the same, because the forward one that opens has got the Mozzie screen, and these ones are full block out. And then you've got the down lights over the table, so eating of an evening is going to be very, very doable. Lovely carpet, and we've even got, just in here, nice, sensible little design, boom, boom, for a couple of plugs. I think that's kind of cool. I haven't seen that before. But strip lighting everywhere. We've got the light switches just here, so you can set the scene. That's going to be the air conditioning control. And even this door stays open on its own gas strut just here. So you can kind of just open it and forget about it. Same vibe out here on the back of the boat. It just locks in like that. Very simple, no nonsense. Everything's very solid, strong, good for moving around in a seaway. I'm really, really liking the vibes that I'm picking up on this boat. So, a couple of drink holders just in here. Got a little bit more storage. Look at that. That's for your glassware. This is cool. We're going to get to this in a second. That is actually access to the aft cabin. But before we get there, let's check out this helm. There's so much going on here. So, I spoke about the beautiful big opening door, but we have one on both sides, which is, you know, not common. A lot of boats will just have one opening helm door, but to have 2 just makes your whole life a lot easier, because moving around the boat, working with guests who are not boaters, your life is going to be a lot easier. And just look at the amount of space we have here. So even if with my feet on that little footstool there, I'm comfortable as a passenger, but if you needed to leave the helm and make your way to the port side, look at all this space you have here. So look at how sensible that is. You can still quite easily, places to hold on and make your way in front of your passengers and still manage the boat by yourself, which I think is great. However, lots to talk about. I'll put my sunnies. Oh, look at that. It's like it's designed for it. It probably is. So this is a fantastic dash. It's matte in color, so it's not going to reflect any sun back in your eyes, but we've got space for 2 of the largest flat screen Garmins here on a great angle, and also the trim of the boat is such that you're going to have a clear viz straight over these screens, and you're not going to get any glare on the screens when you are driving because of the angle. But then the dash itself has got everything you need. First thing I really like is the position of the joystick just there, because when you're transitioning from throttles to joystick, yes, you can drive it like this when you're going forward, but it also allows you to step out and do that. So that increases your line of sight much, much better, but also spinning around, because joysticks lend themselves well, they're really simple to operate basically because you're not having to think too much like you do with the throttles and having to work with bow thrusters. So you can just back the boat in like this or press DPS, which holds the boat in position, and then move aft to the wing station down this big wide side deck rather than going through the middle of the boat where your guests are and having to get in the way. So come back in. So that's quite good. Really, really easy to operate these opening doors. And look at this, that's how you can actually notch it open. So that's the lock, but then you can lock it with a bit of a gap for breathing some air. This is a great feature. I see this on some of the Aussie boats. If you've left a hull window open, it will let you know. Really handy, save a lot of embarrassment and wet upholstery. So electronic throttles, obviously. This is the Garmin, so they're touch pads, but you can also operate them through here. This is for the stern anchor, and this is for the bow anchor over here. Then we've got various lights, wipers, charging, engine, ignition, spotlight control. That's a defroster, so that's taking warm air off the motors, and it's sending it to these black vents here to defrost the windows in winter or cold countries. And this is a diesel heater, a Webasto diesel heater, which takes small amounts of diesel and blows hot air. If you haven't tried one of those, they're fantastic. They really do work very, very well. And for cold countries or any winter climate, I'd recommend it. And this is actually a variable speed electric bow thruster, which is great because you can hold the bow in at a consistent pace if you need to, but just check that out. Okay, so now if you are short like me and the seat at its fully extended position is still a little bit too far away from the wheel, see that? Boom, boom. Solution. Love it. Fantastic. And then you can still adjust the wheel. It's comfortable. We check this out in the test drive video coming up next, but it's really, really good. And if you move this, it's a suspension seat, it's leather wrapped, it's comfortable. These armrests drop up and down, but it's got a little bit of this, and it's really, really good. So when you combine it with a wonderful hull, a solid boat, this is a comfortable thing to ride out in the ocean. So a little bit of storage underneath, a little good footrest, some courtesy lights, bit more storage everywhere. There's storage everywhere on this boat. We've got chart storage or just knickknacks can be thrown in here, and these individual places are good for your phones. We've got our compass. We've got a drop-down TV just here, and across the top you can see we've got our Volvo Penta, autopilot, fusion, bilge pump operation, and getting in behind this is all very doable. It just opens with these screws just here, and it's beautifully done. Very, very well finished. It's super impressive. So I'm going to get back to this, but before we go down, I'm just going to... What a clever use of space. Isn't that cool? And look how beautiful the timber is underneath. But before we get there, I need to show you the construction, and it's best if I just lift this up. So see this? This is fiberglass. So the construction of the furniture, it's actually timber on fiberglass, and you can see sort of here, this is all fiberglass and it's timber over fiberglass. So this boat is going to last forever. It's literally going to last forever because it's not like a stick build on the inside. It's a solid fiberglass structure with timber over it. So it's all part of the one piece, is one way to describe it. Well, okay, we might as well go down to this cabin. This is potentially the crew cabin because this is the 3-cabin version. You can do it in a 2-cabin version, but come on down. These 2 singles will slide in to create a double, but beautiful finish. If you've been on, say, like a Halberg Rassi or some of those really expensive Scandinavian sailing yachts, you're going to feel quite at home on this one. This bed is a little bit longer than that one, but we've got heaps of space. We've got the strip light, we've got the window just there, we've got some reading lights. It is air conditioned. We've actually got another storage locker in here, which is actually designed for the cushions up on the bow if you need. And then we've got some hooks just there for hanging extra bits and pieces. So that's really, really nice. And just in here, looks like our vacuum system, built-in vacuum system for keeping the boat clean. But just have a look in here. So what we're going to do, let me just squeeze past the camera, because this is your head and built-in shower unit. Super tidy, really, really nice, beautifully done, that one. And so it's quite the private space. So if you were using a captain, you'd probably utilize this part of the boat for the captain. We've got some more storage in there, and then your own private sort of space. And look at that, you can even close it off with this door, so that'll just swing in when you do want to lock it all up in place. So that's great. So let's go forward, and this is the way you do it. You've actually, again, you've got a few doors. So this goes up with the gas strut, but it can also fully close off like so. And then you come down these 3 stairs. Now this is where the layout would differ if you went the 2 cabin versus a 3 cabin. So if it was the 2 cabin, your head's going to be here, and then you're going to have a lot more space up in the forward cabin, the master, with an L-shaped lounge on starboard. But this particular one is the 3 cabin. I would wonder, jump in the comments, but I would argue this might be the more popular one to go for, because it really does lend itself to being a real family boat. You can still have mum, dad, kids, and invite another couple to come and visit you, because this is totally a boat you could just live on for 6 weeks if you wanted. So we got our main power switch just here, septic pump, and we got our master vault. We've got some of our gauges, and then we've got ship to shore with generator just in here, and then we've got pencil fuses, and they are all marked just down there. And there's actually a super cool and secret spot underneath here, but even they've considered it with a little tab there. That's the washing machine. How cool is that? Sensible use of the available space. Love it. Fantastic. So come on down. You're sort of welcomed into this nice space with the timber lining. We've actually got some storage here and here. That's hanging storage, and then great place for shoes and bits and pieces. But I'll go into this cabin first. So this is probably the VIP. No. The aft one's going to be the VIP, because this is, you can sit up in bed because you got extra height here. You got cross-flow ventilation through that window there, but you don't have any whole windows here. So this is definitely not the VIP. That's the VIP, and that's the master. But you've got another locker with shelves in here, which is more than adequate. And I think this will potentially be the cabin that you store things in when you're using it in regular mode, because it's probably going to be a little bit more easily accessible. So that's all pretty cool. We've got nice reading lights, down lights, and then what's probably going to be the day head as well as the forward cabin's head is this one, because it's a much wider setup. This particular one, we're going into a full-on separate shower. Got some hanging hooks there. We've got opening port overhead, storage, vanity, sink. It's all very, very, very nicely done to a high standard. And what's going on with this floor? I don't even know what that is. It's kind of cool though, and practical. And as you can see, we've got a door here, which takes us into the forward berth, and we've got day access through here. So what we'll do, we'll go through this one, and then, so through this door, we have the master. So private access to the head, beautiful. Just get down and have a look out there. That's your view, because when you're lying in bed, you're going to have a really nice perspective out through those windows. We've also got overhead windows and opening hatch. for ventilation, but obviously being an island berth, both of you can get out of bed in the middle of the night if you need to go to the loo without disturbing the other person. We've actually got nice deep drawer underneath the bed for all your bedding. I think that's a sensible place for that. We have on both sides, actually every cabin has got these hooks, every bathroom does as well. And then you've got hanging shelves, quite deep actually, and beautifully finished everywhere. Everywhere you look on this boat, the finish is top notch, so it's great. I like the fiddle here on the side. We actually do have some curtains, and the soft finishings are going to absorb any moisture or sound as well. You don't seem to carry too much sound throughout the boat. We have the same storage on this side. We've got charging point there. Do I see another one on this side? Not at the moment. I'm sure it's an option, but I know you can get power from both of those reading lights just there, so you can charge your phones next to you at the bed. Very good. So let's go and have a look in the engine bay. So this is the engine hatch. So if you guys just move out of the way, I will open it. See how door's not in the way, that door's not in the way. Look at the table, also not in the way. So fantastic setup there. And it's also great for letting the heat of the engine bay out of the engine bay. So that's a wonderful feature, but it's just awesome access. You might as well pass me the camera and you guys can come down with me and I'll just show you how lovely this has been done. So look at the Fireboy, power distribution, fuel filters. This is all up on the forward bulkhead. Fuel tanks are forward of this, obviously. Look how well everything's been done up on the port side there. You can see the Fisher Panda genset. You can see the stern anchor. Those boxes are bolted into the floor. They're not moving anywhere. Now we're coming back to have a look at some of the hydraulics for the platform. You can see the hot water tank. Okay, so that's my filming bag. That's not supposed to be there. I just had to get it out of the shot. And that's actually the diesel heater just there, sending heat throughout the boat. And then you can see the IPS drive units just there, and lots of space around the motors. So heaps of space to work and heaps of space to do checks. And they've even put some sort of checker plate on the floor here, which makes life a little bit easier because you're on the angle of the hull there. So it makes it a little bit safer to stand, is the point I'm trying to make. We do have some insulation with a nice aluminium frame just around it, giving you some sound insulation. It does work and it knocks the decibels right down when the hatch is closed. But you do also notice that the having the engine bay aft of this main bulkhead here with the doors really knocks out a lot of the sound as well when you're in the cabin. So it's quite pleasant underway. See how considerate I am, guys? There was some girls with G-strings in the background and I waited until they got out of shot so we could make this a little bit more family friendly. What a pleasant surprise. What a wonderful piece of kit. I first heard about Sargo some years ago when a really experienced commercial fisherman from the Southern Ocean in Australia who goes out in big seas catching tuna contacted me for some feedback on who these guys were. And I didn't really know much. So apart from doing some web research, and there weren't too many YouTube videos out at the time, I couldn't answer honestly. But I can now. And this is one of the best built boats on the market today in this size and demographic appeal. In my personal opinion, the construction's fantastic. This hull is wonderful. If you want to go out in the ocean, you're going to have a good time. And if you just want to live on the boat, and if you want to be not hindered by changing weather, no matter where you are in the world, this is going to be a really good option for you. So let's talk about that. And then next video coming up is going to be the sea trial, and I hope you'll join us if you're interested, of course. Who is best suited to this boat? In my opinion, I'm just reading from my notes here because I don't want to forget anything. Those of you looking for longer seasons or year-round boating. So if that's on your must-have list, if you are someone who wants to extend your season or you want the option of boating year-round, I would definitely consider this. Somebody who has real passage making in mind, obviously consider the range and consider where you are in the world, but if you actually want to do some proper passage making and be comfortable, this boat will be great, because not all boats are. Like I've been involved with, for example, hybrid style boats in the past, in my previous life, which were built lighter in order to be electrically powered. But that lightweight means that you bounce around. When you're out in the ocean, Mother Nature sort of controls you a little bit more. Whereas this Sargo feels like you're much more in the water rather than on the water. So your weight and momentum and this whole design, it's really parting those waves. It's much more comfortable and it's less exhausting on you, because when you're on a boat that moves around a lot, you find yourself running out of energy really, really quickly. So you'll do one day at sea and you haven't got the energy to go again. A boat that will fit in any marina, in my opinion. So this thing, it's super stand out as it is we're surrounded by super yachts right now. It just looks cool. It's really unique. The green is a funky look and it's got a tough vibe when we're surrounded by all these billionaires. So yes, we can do that. But I also believe if you rocked up at a commercial fishing dock and tied up, you would also fit in. So I kind of like that vibe. It's a little bit, it's understated. Like, it's understated and it's cool. And no matter who you're pulling up next to, they're all going to look and they're going to go, hey, mate, this is a cool boat. Like, that's the impression that I get. And tell me in the comments if you agree. And I think practically minded people, if you have come from a sailing catamaran or a monohull and you've done cruising and you enjoy cruising, but now you want to cruise at speed because for whatever reason, or now you don't really care about being out in the weather, you're happy to just run before it, you're going to see a great amount of value in this thing. Definitely a lot of you motorboaters will too. So anyone cruising, practically minded, wants to operate the boat themselves or minimal crew, you can definitely run this boat solo. I would have no worries about that whatsoever. Some design feedback. It's a safe boat. The hull is not jarring you around through the swells, so you can move about underway. The design, just everywhere you look, you've got something to hold on to. You don't have many sharp edges. Everything's pretty well rounded, so it's just a safe boat to move around on. If you're in the tropical climates or the southern hemisphere, you're protected from the sun. You're not going to get skin cancer. You can keep that glass locked out, so you really are cocooned in this well-protected boat. It's got insulated sides, so if you're in the northern climates, it's going to protect you from the cold weather as well. And one of the other things I cannot, it's not unique to Sargo, but having the two opening doors there up at the helm, fantastic. That's really great, and it makes your life so much easier. So excellent considerations for you if you're buying one of these. Do you get the IPS or do you get the sterndrive? Depends where you are in the world and what you want to achieve. A sterndrive will do a tighter, faster turn. So if you're in Bergen, Norway, as I was the other day, and you've got freaking rocks everywhere, amazing place, beautiful to go boating, I recommend it. But you do want to be able to do quick turns, but if you're going to go fast through those islands, because if you have a boo-boo, it's going to be a major one. In saying that, this boat has got a stainless steel rubbing strake down the middle of the keel, which gives you a little bit of protection. Don't go running that into rocks though, but just worth noting. 2 or 3 cabins, that's a personal choice. What I would do is talk to your dealer and ask what he or she believes is going to be the best for resale when you come to sell the boat in the future. So depending where you are in the world and that feedback that you get from your dealer, maybe consider that. Yes, having 2 big cabins might be what you want, and that meets your needs. But just remember, with all this weather protection here, how much time are you actually going to be spending down in that bigger forward cabin? Does it matter at all? And will you see more benefit in having the ability to invite another couple, or just sell your boat easier down the line because it was a 3 cabin, not a 2 cabin? Ask the questions. I don't have the answers. That's something you're going to need help with. So yeah, that's it. If you want to get some feedback on the drive and what boats you might want to compare this one with, I'm going to be doing that at the end of the next video. Also, guys, if you're enjoying this content, please subscribe. It's your subscriptions that the factories notice, and that helps me get on board more boats. And please tell me what boat you have now and what boat you're comparing this one with, because if I haven't filmed it and I know you're all looking at it, I will go and annoy that factory and I'll try and get on board so I can film it for you as well. So that's it, coming to you from the beautiful Athens Riviera. This is a really cool place. Get here and go boating. The islands are out there. They're all amazing. If you haven't been to Greece, you have to get here because it's a wonderful place to go boating. The food's fantastic. The people are wonderful and the weather is amazing. Test drive video coming up next. See you there. Love you lots. Thanks, guys.